Hey, this is Lisa Lee and welcome to my channel. Today we are bedside because I'm really allergic to juniper. Like not just like a little bit allergic, like heinously allergic to juniper. And right now where I live, it's like exploding in every direction and I'm just hiding from it. I'm taking it a little easy, but I did want to do a reading. I haven't done one in a long time. I've been taking a break from readings on TikTok and readings on YouTube to like I wanted to just take some time out and sort of have a better sense of what the collective and general readings are and begin to try and explain. Like, I feel like I have to give you my philosophy of magic in order for this to be the kind of reading that I want it to be. And so that you have a sense of the reader that you're following as well. So I'm going to do a preamble. I'll put a timestamp for when the reading starts. Understand that when the reading starts, it's going to be a totally weird format, but it'll be fun and we're exploring. So if you want to go right to the reading, timestamp is below. If not, and you want to hear my whole spiel and my philosophy and what I've been thinking about, I'm going to be talking about that right now. So, where do I start? So, a one-on-one reading and a collective reading, general reading, are two totally different animals. Like, there's a lot of, you get a lot from the hoity-toities, and I don't mean that as like a derogatory thing, but there are a lot of people that think that pointing out that these general and collective readings are performances somehow, like they are. They absolutely are performances, but they're magical performances. So what does that mean? It means that magic is everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And while a one-on-one reading is really focused and it's the alchemy between a reader and the person they're reading for, with a collective reading, what you're getting is almost like, it's like a magical sermon. And it's not that you're being preached at, but if you've ever been to, I don't know, maybe like either a speech or a sermon where it was like everything that you needed to hear at that moment and the message that you absolutely needed to get. And that, you know, Spirit had somehow, or God had somehow found a way to give you that insight, that knowledge, and there's confirmation. And so that's kind of how a collective reading works. I also sort of find that people are kind of like moving in energetically, at least what it feels like, schools of fish, and they're each having like their own experience, but they're moving together almost unconsciously, I think definitely unconsciously, to one another. And so you do get these, you know, you do pick up these streams of consciousness where a lot of people are in those paths kind of together. And so like the last reading I put up, I took it down because it was so specific, and I was experimenting with a type of reading almost opposite to what we're going to be experimenting with in a little while, which was, I wanted to, my intention was to work with specifics and allow whoever was like meant to find it or perceiving it or coming across it to find those specifics in their experience and then see the like insight and the inspiration and basically that channel of love that comes through when your intention is to deliver it, right? So there's two things. There's holding two things in your hand at the same time. Holding two things in your hand at the same time. That's what this is. And the two things that you're holding in your hand at the same time are, this is a performance and this is magic. And the only reason it's magic is because magic is wherever the fuck you're looking for it. Wherever you look for it, that's where you find it. And when you reach for it, sometimes you don't find it. No, when you try to grab it, it might not be there. But if you look for it, if you're open to it, your message will find you, right? Because you have that power by intention, by setting your intention alone to find your message. If you're looking, you're going to find what you're looking for. And if your intention is to be helped, you'll be helped. That's really the magic. That's the whole spell right there. So let's get started. This reading is going to be exploring. We're going to explore. We're going to have a really loose structure, and I'm going to just walk the maze and follow my intuition. And as I always do, I basically just follow my intuition. It's following kind of, you know, a magical train of thought, and it's kind of pulling on all sorts of strings in every direction. It's all improv, kind of improv based on like intuition. I don't know how else I would be able to put it, but it's not consciously, it's not like a car that's consciously driven. That was probably explained in a really spastic way. All right, let's start the reading. Those of you that have jumped ahead are here, and those of you that heard the spiel, hopefully that made sense. I thought it was insightful, maybe. I don't know. I tired myself out. So let's give me a minute to focus in on the reading at hand. So we're going to just start with situation. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Death card. So this is the underbelly, the theme. This is the feeling that comes through at the very, like, underneath it all. Sort of like when you encounter a person and they have a vibe. Like, I always feel like the bottom of the deck feeling is the vibe, and the cards that come out are the characteristics, or, you know, the energies are like these characteristics of, or characters even, depending. Touch is important for me. I think other people intuit differently, but being able to like touch and fidget and with the card helps a lot for me. So I don't know if you read, and I think everybody can and should learn, and you have trouble, you get stuck, you know, touching the card might help. So the underlying energy we have here is the Death card. And so the first thing we want to understand about the situation at hand is that it's going to transform completely. It's going to become something totally different from what it formerly was. So the situation that you have in mind, that you're seeking answers for, that you're here to find out information about, I always think of the butterfly or the moth when I see the Death card, because it absolutely is a card of resurrection. But it means that what it formerly was, it will no longer be, and what it will become is its own new thing. So the situation you're asking about, is about to become its whole new thing. So wipe away try and wipe the whiteboard clean if you can, and just let's like look at the situation as if there are infinite possibilities, because the one thing that we know starting this reading is that it's going to transform. You've got the Emperor in reverse, and as you right now, and what's moving this forward, or maybe even hindering, and we're going to look at it and see, is this Prince of Cups card here. So with the Emperor in reverse, there's the traditional meaning, and then what is this card saying to me? You know, there's those both things. So the Emperor is this card of dominion over your world, like almost answer to no one, authority. I think in the upright it's earned authority, healthy authority, and in the reverse it's really unhealthy authority. So the Emperor has this energy of holding absolute power in a way, And in the reverse, especially with this card, and what I'm feeling come through in this card is feeling powerless, actually. And it's a specific type of powerlessness. It's not the kind of powerlessness, it's not like learned or like, this is a powerlessness that comes from thinking you're supposed to be in power right now, thinking you're supposed to feel like you're in control right now when you're not supposed to feel like that. And so the first thing that we want to look at is that this emperor who this emperor has lost the illusion of having control. And what's helping the emperor who has lost this illusion of having control is this Prince of Cups. And so this card means two things. You know, there's the traditional meaning, and then we also look at the image, because I think of these decks as being tarot oracle decks, and they're not in any way like strictly tarot decks. They're special. And that's just my way of looking at it. And so the Prince of Cups is offering love. It's a gift of love. It's somebody offering a gift of love. But in this, when I see this image, along with the energy that this has for me, I'm seeing that what is helping and is helping, what's helping this emperor who has lost the illusion of control is this notion of what is unfolding, what remains to be seen, and how is this going to be meaningful. It's a different kind of searching for control, but it's a healthier one. It's looking within and being like, how are my insides going to react to this in a way that is productive, creative, and inspires growth? You know, the alternative is to kind of shut down and just collapse within yourself. And sometimes we need to do that. Whenever I see the Tower in reverse, I think of that as an internal collapse. And this is feeling a little bit like that to me. There are seasons for letting yourself collapse internally, believe it or not. It's good for you to allow for, I almost think of it like a free burn, you know, like when these tower moments happen, you know, instead of trying to put everything back together the way it was, let the collapse happen. Let yourself lose that illusion of control, and then gain the knowledge of what it means to actually have control in the way that you're meant to. So that's what we're starting with you. Let's take it a little farther. Let's see where we're going with this. Okay. I'm going to take all of them. There's a walking away. I should hold up the cards as I talk about them, so don't worry too much if they're not in the frame. There's a walking away happening around you. Let's take a look at that in a second. Ooh. Okay. We need to talk, person who found this reading. So, generally, yeah. But if you want to follow that train of, like, I'm following this train of intuition. And so if this really resonated with you, as we move through this, you're going to ask yourself, was that part of a whole that I'm supposed to gain more from, or was that just for me? Because there's a lot to talk about here. And let me just pull that last card. And we're going to let this take us wherever it's going. And it's going somewhere good. Ten of Coins. Now, I do read reversals, and I don't read them like the opposite. You know, sometimes I do. It depends on what's coming through. Sometimes I just read them as nuanced, right? So the way that I'm seeing this Ten of Coins in reverse, it's like there's been tremendous loss. And the tremendous loss has probably been part of what has caused this emperor to feel like, to know the illusion of control has vanished, right? And so there's been a lot of loss here. And so that's what I'm feeling as like the underlying energy of this reading actually is loss. I don't know if it's going to be gloomy or not. Again, if you become afraid while watching like a collective reading that you're going to hear something that's going to scare you or hurt you in any way, that's I want to like take a minute and just, that should be corrected. This is only about what feels good, actually. Everything else you're supposed to ignore. And again, I'm going to bring back that example from my spiel of a sermon. And while this is not a preaching sermon, that's not what it is. Like, there's going to be messages for you, and there's going to be messages for somebody who's sitting somewhere else, kind of a thing. But it's the divine getting through. But the underlying energy here is there's been a lot of loss. And we're going to pick that apart because there's something good here. I'm seeing something good here. What's pushing you forward is this beautiful hope. I love this, actually. Let me take a look, and then I'm going to just show you in a second. This is a beautiful card. So this card speaks to me of hope. It speaks to me of healing, but it really speaks to me of hope. It speaks to me of ingenuity sometimes. Here it speaks to me of hope in a really dark place. She's reaching toward a closed window, and beyond that window is a storm. She's in a level of darkness. The light coming through is coming through what seems like shattered glass. She's barefoot. And it's filthy below her. But there's a purity in this hope. And there's something about this hope that is going to lift her out of these circumstances. And so what's pushing up, what's pushing through, like, you know, you have to understand there's this thing that your higher self wants this transformation. And so losing the illusion of control is a huge blessing. Having to reframe the way that you look at everything so that you can see it in a new light, so that you can like transform through these mounting losses, which, by the way, they've mounted to the max. I'm really getting a very strong feeling that this isn't about like more losses on the losses that you've already sort of accumulated, but this is having to like acknowledge that stuff, look at it, deal with it, and reframe. And what's helping that reframe? This process is very healthy, the way that's helping to just like think about things from a completely different perspective, or try to, and have this hope that like, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to see the other side of this. And that is what is going to push you forward in all of this. That's something that's coming to your aid. Bottom up, basically. There's this Queen of Wands in your past. And the Queen of Wands in this card comes up as a public defender. And I love that. But there's, there's nuance here. Because this is either somebody who is of help, or this is somebody who is burnt out, exhausted, and under-resourced, and as a result, totally not going to be fair, not able, not capable, and it's a black hole of nobody wins. So that's sort of, this card can come through to me in either way. And in the upright, I am seeing that there's integrity here, but what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing come through is like, maybe like it's like integrity mixed with something sinister, right? And so that is what we're, that's actually the past. I'll get some clarifiers in a minute. I just want to sort of go through what's here. The past is feeling like you're dealing with this unfucking winnable situation. That's the way you put it. Past, you're dealing with an unwinnable situation. Your present, there's something hopeful. There's almost like you have it within you somehow miraculously to be in the midst of a passionate new beginning, despite all of this. And you already feel that. And sometimes, like, this feeling gets eaten up by dread. But when the dread lifts, this is where you are. This is what you're feeling. You're feeling like there's a vitality that's like building and it's moving and it's like it's leading somewhere and you're not really sure where it's leading yet, but it keeps on sparking. You keep on getting that guttural or like in the back of the body kind of something's coming to a head. And sometimes there's an anxiousness to that and sometimes there's an excitement to it. But you understand that there's a level of power and there's a level of gaining momentum that's happening. And you really, more than anything else, what this card feels like to me is wanting so badly to express yourself and being like so poised to express yourself and like so ready and needing to express yourself, almost to the point of like bursting. And yet somehow having some trouble doing that. You're not trying to do it in an indirect way. What's around you is actually, there's a lot of wish fulfillment around you, which is, this is an energy that is either like a person, or, no, this for me, anyway, the way that this feels for me is that there is something about somebody who, at least in a world where wishes are like made and, you know, like these are emotional, this is like the Six of Cups. Wow, holy crap, that's really interesting. I was seeing the Nine of Cups because I'm a little bit dyslexic, but beyond that, like, this is about actually reunion sometimes, and so the archetypal meaning for me has suddenly shifted a little bit, and I gotta find my spot because it felt weird as, yeah, I was like, this is definitely seems like a person, and it felt weird as accumulated wishes, and that's not what it is entirely, but it's definitely something that there's a resonance here of holding a lot of wishful thinking around this person who's in your energy field, in your environment. Somebody wants to talk to you. Really, someone really wants to talk to you, and you want to have this communication. So I'm going to pull more cards on this because you do want this communication. You want this communication. Okay. You're afraid of something being an offer of love being rescinded. That's what's coming up in your fears. And with this card, I see somebody who's creative and created a lot and put a lot into what they have created. This is the Princess of Cups. And so this is somebody who has taken their curiosity and used it to make things that bring them joy. In the reverse, there's like a fear of losing that in some way. Either losing that opportunity or losing some of what was created, or losing, yeah, I feel it more than anything else. This is like, let me just feel this for a second. Yeah. This is being worried about an offer being rescinded. It's just a concern. So, having gone through all of that, I want to look at the outcome and the outcome if nothing's changed, or if nothing changes. And this is this point in the reading where it's a little bit different than it would be with a one-on-one reading. With a one-on-one reading, there's a whole mess of things that come up when we see what I'm about to talk about here. With a one-on-one reading, you're dealing with like a situation that's narrow enough to actually look at very closely. With a collective reading, there's a different opportunity. And again, it's a collective reading is a totally different animal, like a totally different thing. With a collective reading, we do have an opportunity to like shift energy, move energy, work with it, kind of like look at what outcomes are expected or projected and tinker with that. And that's what we're going to do with this, because you have an outcome of heartbreak, and then you have an ultimate outcome of being freed. Heartbreak leads to freedom. It leads from, heartbreak leads to never feeling trapped like you've been feeling trapped. You've been feeling trapped a really long time, and this heartbreak leads to that release. And we're going to find out more about that. That's what the transformation at the beginning of the deck, when we had the bottom of the deck in the beginning, that transformation is going from living with loss as your foundation is about, and that's weird, that just came through for me, but like living with this loss as your foundation, and I don't know how that makes sense, but that's going to make sense to somebody, is not going to work, and it's not going to hold you up, and so the transformation is required. And while heartbreak is part of this, sometimes, and we'll find out more about what that is and how it's leading to your liberation, and we're going to play with the energy in terms of making it softening the whole experience as much as we can, and making it something that you are stepping into because you want to see this growth and this change and this transformation, and not because it's happening, you know, like we're going to take out the sting by making it a little bit more intentional. So if you are resonating so far and you feel like I really do need to be freed, and that is my priority, and the heartbreak is for many of you already there, you know, with the Emperor in reverse again, like losing all illusion of control, having to reframe everything. There's a sense in which this heartbreak is looming, in addition to, well, let's just find out more about it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move these cards away. I'm going to keep this one out. I'm going to keep out that one. And we're going to look at these things as situations. We're going to look at the liberation. We are going to look at the heartbreak. We're going to look at what the walking away in your immediate future means. I didn't go over this yet. That's okay. We're going to go over it now. And we're going to see who this nostalgic sort of, this is a person, and we're going to see what this is that you want to hear, I think. We'll find out. We're going to let it all reveal itself to us. So we're going to start with the release. And let's just do that. Starting with the release. What is this release about? King of Wands. Let's take a look. Okay. So with Temperance, this is really going to be something that brings you immense balance, and I'm even feeling a level of healing, and you're also going to feel really assisted in all of this. You're not going to feel alone with any of this, not at any point. What are you getting rid of? You're going to have an entirely new perspective. It's going to be an enlightened perspective. And so, you know, the door out of this I'm trapped and I don't know how to get out, the door out is going to be this entirely new perspective. I'm seeing like night and day. And this is a perspective wherein it's an enlightenment. It's not a dark night of the soul realization. This is actually like, oh wow, it's almost like an epiphany that's turbocharged. But you see the world differently. So again, what with the bottom of the deck energy being a transformation, this is about your transformation for sure. You're gonna have a complete transformation of the way that you look and see and feel about things. The anxiety that you've just sort of lived with as a baseline for kind of a long time, this fear, anxiety, this feeling of being viewed wrong, like watched, like this is a misunderstanding, imprisonment feeling that I'm getting from this card. Yeah. you're gonna find your way through this, and we'll find out more about that. But part of this anxiety and nervousness, we have this King of Wands showing up in an empowered feminine energy, and that's just this deck. This deck has this cool quirk where there's, in addition to King and Queen, there's also a feminine, divine masculine sort of aspect of the King cards. And so you have this King of Wands that's coming through as somebody who is very, what's the word I'm looking for? Someone who is in the who kind of withholds their blooming and their vibrance. That's my cat just scream. I know, you don't get wet food, not until later. He does this daily. Like, he starts like 2 hours before he's supposed to get his food. And I have to keep him on schedule, so I endure it, basically. But you have dry food, no more crying. So there's a lot of anxiety about this energy. It's a potent, fiery, inspired, powerful energy. There's all kinds of anxiety. And basically, part of your way out is feeling tough, seeing this energy in a completely new way. And it is liberating. And it brings a lot of balance and a sense of, and you're assisted this whole time. This entire process, you're going to have this assistance. But this is all to bring you into an awareness of something that you weren't aware of, didn't see, and now have an enlightened position on, and you're free, and it frees you. So I want to look at the heartbreak for a moment. And this is kind of the outcome and the ultimate outcome. So we looked at the ultimate outcome being a completely new perspective on an energy that was previously really causing like this level of like anxiety in anything from like I'm seeing myself like as being seen wrong, or I'm afraid, or I'm worried, all that, like nightmare, not being able to sleep, all that energy around this King of Wands character, this energy right here. This is actually, this energy just feels like someone with power. Someone with power, inspiration, and there's something else here too. We'll see a little bit more about that. But whatever you were thinking or fearing or having anxiety about related to that situation or person, you're going to look at it in a completely different way. You're going to see something totally new. And actually quite quickly, real quick. This is going to happen. So, what's coming through Spirit is saying the heartbreak is not for but a minute. It is a quick heartbreak. It happens. Wow. All right, let's get a little bit more information before we go into that. Okay. So, you've got a bottom of the deck energy being working together. So this you got 3 of Swords and 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles to me is always about working on something. Sometimes I feel it like it's a really big project. Usually I feel like it's a big project. In the archetypal deck, they're building a cathedral. And here I'm seeing that there are 2 people building something that are aware of what they're building. And there's one person aiding this process that is unaware of what they're contributing to. But it's ultimately a positive thing. And that's sort of the bottom of the deck. What the bottom of the deck is saying about this heartbreak is sort of the underlying thing is, I almost want to say the help is on its way, sort of. And you've been building something for a long time, and you're about to find out what it is. And this is positive. It's like a positive thing. So there's something coming into fore around cooperating with others, working with others. That's what this 3 of Pentacles is. And that's what this feels like. And, the separation, I see the birds. These birds are sort of speaking the same language, and this other person isn't speaking that language. So there's a translation that I think we'll see occur. The nature of this heartbreak is a lot of information coming in really, really quickly, unexpectedly. Basically, I want to say it's an onslaught of information, but it's going to happen. It's just like, this could signify like a really difficult conversation where you're just hit with a lot at once that's pretty intense and can be kind of shocking. And so something to know about this heartbreak: you see things completely different and it frees you, and it happens so quick. It luckily, it's not like a long suffering kind of hellishness. So you've got this information coming in quick, and I want to say that it's a bit explosive. It's going to, there's a phrase like light a fire under your ass. The emotion that is coming through is going to be simultaneously heartbreaking, and you are going to be moving through this so quickly, like a cannon. And it's gonna and where it gets painful a little bit is that there's sort of disappointment. You were making something. What were you making? Whatever you were making, you know, you were hoping for this. You know, the position that you were in and that you're in right now, in this like wanting to communicate like something so badly, like wanting to express something so badly, like wanting to put something into expression. There's going to be a damper on this, like some kind of a lid, but it's basically you were sort of moving in a direction with something that you were kind of wanting to see bloom in the right direction, something that you were feeling a level of inspiration with. And all this information is going to be a little bit shocking, and it's going to set you off. And I'm not saying like in a way that's this is going to set you off in the direction of liberation quickly. And so you're going to go from information, like liberation, whole new perspective on things, and needing to adjust your plan with whatever it is that you've been creating. So that's going to be what this heartbreak is about. All right, let's get a little bit more information, and then we're going to move through these energies with some adjustments. All right, let's go ahead with, what is the walking away? What are we looking at with the walking away? What are we looking at with this walking away? What are you walking away from? So in your immediate future, you are walking away from something. And you're walking away from this, which is awesome, because that was never going to be any good. What else are you walking away from? How does this character, what is this? What is this? Okay. Wow. Ooh. I'm like scared for you a little bit. This is nothing to be afraid of. And again, with these readings, like, it's not fear, because you're only applying what, like, especially with stuff that talks about difficult subjects like shadow readings, you know, it's like you're looking at the wound and you're just applying the salve. If you're not applying the salve, if you're like poking it and it hurts more, nope, we're not doing that. Think of this as like, we're dressing the wound. You shouldn't be afraid of anything that's happening. This is all part of a healing process. But we're going to talk about this, and I'm just getting these feelings as I'm pulling this stuff out. Whew. Okay. You're walking towards this is a huge blessing. You're walking towards yourself. This is a gift of self-love from the divine that is so immense that it's for everyone. If you're completely full and emotionally you feel yourself as being able to your blessings flow out onto others, and it never feels like it's depleting you. That's how much of a gift of self-love and love from the divine that you're going to have through all of this. So when we talk about this walking away, one of the first things you need to understand is that you are going to feel loved this whole time, that you're going to feel pretty blessed too, that this is a huge gift of love from the divine for you that is not only going to be like enough, it's going to be more than enough. It's kind of bottomless. So that's where we want to start there, because self-love in the highest possible form is what is going to be, that's why this walking away is happening. And you're going to have that. This is being left out in the cold, abandoned, under-resourced. This is being left to starve to death. That's what this feels like. I always feel this card as you're left to starve to death. And you've been left to starve to death by, you know, like these windows. It's like all of these areas where, you know, it's like perceived that there's inside there's warmth, you know, inside there's what people like, what welcome, you know, being welcomed into this warmth, and the being outside of that, and kind of this flower is sort of like dying, you know, there's clinging to life and feeling like you're starving to death, and there's such an abandonment and an unhappiness here, and so you're walking away from that. This is a King of Swords energy that, I'm just gonna put it like it is. This is a cold motherfucker. I curse on my channel because it's not, I don't need it be chaste of words. But anyway, this King of Swords is coming in with something very sharp. And I'm really excited because what was intended to be sharp communication is just pointing you to all of the options that you now have that you were not aware of previously. So you're walking away from feeling left out in the cold. You're done with that, and you're done with not having enough sustenance by way of like reciprocity, by way of reciprocity. And whatever this harsh communication ends up being, this very cold, very like, I want to say cynical, but it's like, it's incisive, you know, it's this sharp prick, like really just kind of like busts whatever bubble of clinging to what was never enough, like there is left. And the self-love that comes rushing in response to this is actually, it just pushes you into this, you're so held by the divine. I see these clouds as being, you're held by angels, you're held by guides, you're held by the divine, you're being carried. So, you know, this harsh communication just carries you right to your set of options. And you're seeing that really, really clearly. You can expect a reunion with somebody who you think about a lot. And it's with this is who's around you. With this Six of Cups, this is somebody you think about a lot in a wishful kind of a way. And it's somebody who, the thinking has like a nostalgic quality to it. And that's the energy that's actually around you right now. Somebody who you've worked with. Let me just get some more information. And then we're going to move it. We're going to move all this stuff so that it feels lighter. Oh, nice. Okay. This is cool. All right. So I'm seeing this as in the reverse, but I'm so excited because this is really about your ships coming in and all of the effort that you put into something coming back to you, and like everything, like, and when this is in the reverse, sometimes I feel a certain way, but the way that I'm feeling about this in reverse is what you thought you lost, all that energy that you thought was sunk costs, all of that, oh my God, you're about to find out what you thought was like lost and dead and gone is making a comeback. And we're seeing that here in the energy around you. So while your immediate future is about walking away from something that you discover quickly is pretty horrible, and like you know you're done, and it's liberating, and now you see the world in a whole new way, and you don't give a crap about whatever this horrendousness that was making you have nightmares and driving you crazy and anxiety provoking, like whoever the heck that is, over. Whatever that energy is, you see it. You see it clearly, and you're able to quite literally transform yourself out of the captivity that you felt yourself in. This energy around you, again, this is I thought this was the Nine of Cups and it was the Six of Cups, and the energy is kind of a mixed sort of a bag of like someone you think about a lot, someone you're always kind of, there's a wishful kind of energy around all of this thinking, and nostalgia. Like there's this nostalgia there too. And so you can expect that this person who's around you, and I already got this message really clearly, this person wants to speak to you. And so there's a message around you related to this. Now, this is also the Queen. This is the Queen of Swords. This is the King of Swords. So whatever this nasty communication you got from what should have been a divine counterpart in some way or another, but it wasn't, because look, this is a queen who is looking in the opposite direction, and she's on a that's so interesting. I thought it was an air balloon. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. I'm seeing her vision, but basically this queen is now looking towards where she wants to go, the direction that she wants to go. And so this is some kind of, this could be like, and I'm feeling a couple of things. This could be a spouse, this could be a boss, this could be a mother, this could be a partner, this could even be a best friend. But whoever it is, it's somebody who's coming in with, whoever this is, it's somebody who never gave enough and took, and it was horrible, and there was just a feeling of abandonment and loss with this person. So that's who this person is. That's what this sharp communication, you're going to see this person real clearly. It's going to liberate you. And then you're going to look in the right direction. It's going to point you in the right direction, and this is going to happen pretty quickly. This is like sharp communication, all of these options. This points you to all of these options, and then you zero in on the option that you want. And when you zero in on the option you want, it's somebody that you've already started working with, have made some progress, not that much though, or you made something, or you worked on something, or you had some kind of a thing that you did together that got sort of far, but not all the way, just a little bit more than halfway kind of, and you're like able to see very clearly what you want and where you're going, and there's a choice to be made. And let's look at that choice real quick, and then as soon as we're done looking at that choice, I'm going to pull from the other deck. We're going to shift this energy around so that we're aided in this process. Okay. Yeah, it's, oh my gosh. This is a great reading. You know, it's like, this is where there's no loss. This is what I said when I was like, you know, this is this thing where like you think that all of that effort and that your ships aren't going to come back. No, they're coming back. And like when we started this reading earlier, it was like there was just this foundation of loss. No, you're going to find out it's all gain. And then you're gaining. You're not losing anything. You're losing what was the loss. You're losing what was the sunk costs, and you're gaining. There's a flip, there's twist. That's the twist. You're gaining a whole new perspective that sets you free and brings you into alignment with this reunited energy, reunited with yourself, reunited with your wishes, reunited with a person who you had a lot of wishful thinking around and in nostalgia with, reunited with an old project, reunited with an effort, reunited with a point in a process of a relationship. You see clearly, very quickly where you're going, and you're going to make this choice, and the choice is to do something unbelievably amazing and experience something in the way of a transformation that has you seeing the world in a whole new way, has you feeling the world in a whole new way, has you being a new creature in the world that you exist in. And this is like the Eon card, and it's I feel like you're catapulting into the right place at the right time, as you should be, and for the highest good. And this is really powerful. So let's take some oracle cards and shift a little bit of this energy around. And this is where we ask Spirit to come in all of these areas where we feel tender, You know, maybe we feel tender around the heartbreak. Maybe we feel tender around the walking away. Maybe there's even a tenderness around what this freedom might mean. So we're just going to get some advice, and we're going to end on that advice. Let's go ahead and do that. You know, what Spirit wants to bring through is there's something that you have just not been seeing clearly, and you're about to have a total and complete turnaround on that, and it's going to change everything. It's going to change you, and you're not going to be trapped anymore. And so okay, one more. Too many, but I'm supposed to take this one and this one and this one. All right, fine. Bottom of the deck, we have a new romantic cycle beginning. That's not a surprise to me at all. And it doesn't have to be a romance partner. It can just be like life becomes like you discover wonder again, and you're able to like interact with things like with that like childlike wonder, like that joy. So so this is a new romantic cycle. It's a new, you get to be happy. I think that's the message that's coming through, is you're going to be freed and you're going to be happy. And even if that's like, it's impossible. I don't think so. We have this believe in the impossible, and we have that over here. We've got a lot coming. This is a soulmate over here, this energy that's around you, this communication that you want, this person. This is a soulmate. So we're going to come back to this because this is something really cool. And this again, yeah, let's just keep pulling oracle cards so that we can look at this, move it around, feel better about it, and go boldly into the future that we co-create with Spirit. Gosh, these cards are wanting to tell me everything, and we do not want to make this reading a million years of reading. There's a lot coming out with this person. You're protected through this process. You are protected. Take a deep breath. Release. You're protected through this process. Claim it. It's true. You just are. Yeah. So what we have here with a time to give rather than take, and the gift, this new perspective, Spirit is basically saying, this was draining. This was depleting. This shock that you get from the information that comes in, that sets you free from this energy. And this energy had you in a position where you were never able to give anything, where you were depleted. I'm seeing that here. This energy had you in this position of negative nourishment. It's a starvation state. And there was never, it felt like there was never enough. And what Spirit is saying with all of this is that in like a blink of an eye, because this happens so quick. I love how quickly this happens. This is actually like good news heartbreak, and that's weird, but it's true. This new perspective is such an immense gift. It enables you to fly, and it's such an immense gift that it gives you this time in your life, this period in your life where you're not working at a deficit in any way, shape, or form. This speaks of abundance. This gives you a time in your life and a period in your life where you are operating out of a place where there's more than enough for you, and there's enough to give. And we saw that somewhere else. But so as much as you might feel like this is a loss, Spirit is saying it's such a gift to free you from the kind of starvation that you were enduring in the position that you were in, the silencing that you had to deal with. You're going to see things in a new way, and you're going to be so filled up. You're going to feel so well fed and so nourished. You're going to have enough to give. And so the shift in the energy there is like, you're going to see your way out. You're going to be free, and whatever this attachment is, and there wouldn't be so much worry if there wasn't an attachment, whatever this attachment is, it's hurting you. And so the shift that's going to take place right now is an acceptance and even a welcoming in of a new perspective that operates like a gift, that gives you more than enough. So much that you have enough for yourself and you have enough to give. And that's the new perspective right there. The new perspective to take on this heartbreak that we're looking at here. The new perspective to take on this heartbreak is that, where are we? There we are. I'm like feeling everything together. The first thing I want to say is you're not losing, you're just redirecting. You're redirecting your energy. You are seeing things in a certain way. You're going to have some kind of a transformation where you see it totally new way. This is transformation in your perspective and transformation in yourself and what you were building, where you were going, how you were doing it. Of course, this needs to be turned up in a different direction. You need an adjustment here, and that's totally fine. This information, this pointy communication, is going to come in at light speed. It is going to be the blink of an eye. It's going to be intense, it's going to be comprehensive, and it's going to be fast. And that is the best way to experience heartbreak, is fast, and with this Knight of Wands, it's like in and it's out, right? And so this information comes in, and the action that you take is immediate. And it's the best thing that you can possibly do for yourself, because it really puts you in a position of power. Where we started the reading, the Emperor who has lost all control, or lost the illusion of control, is basically what it is. Where we are right now, this information that comes in, it lights a fire under your ass, like in and it's out. You are not sitting in heartbreak for a long time, and it is catapulting you in a new direction. And this change happens, new perspective, new person, and it restores you to your power. And that gives you the confidence to show the world the real you. And part of what this does, part of the shock of this, is that you finally, it gives you that boost to show the world the real you, and it sets this new beginning right. The advice on the walking away. You're walking away from a horrible, abandoned, starvation state in the first place. The sharp communication that comes in is just going to show you what your options are right away, and you're just gonna take action. This isn't, should I take action? You're going to take action. You're going to walk away. And it's the best thing you can possibly do, because this is your transformation. When we talked about the death card earlier, and I mentioned the butterfly, this is you becoming a butterfly and existing in a beautiful garden. And so you're taking this action to walk away, and this new direction that you're going in, Spirit is encouraging you and saying, yeah, walk away, do it, just do it. The person that you are becoming, I've created a space for. And it's a person who is in power, and it's a person who is able to express the real version of themselves, that authentic version of themselves. And it's somebody who has more than enough, and enough to give. The last bit of advice here in terms of shifting this energy. So when we think about leaving, we think about liberation. When we think about this pain, we think about how quick and the present, how do I put this? The gift in the pain. When we think about the pain, we think immediately of the gift in the pain and what that is going to give you. And when we think about this walking away, what Spirit is saying is, you're walking away from something that was depleting, starvation, and that gives you the new start. This gives you your new start. You deserve this. This is needed. This adjustment in your life for this new start is required. It's absolutely essential. And so leaving, it's a requirement at this point. Everything that has been before this and everything that will be, it's all connected. It's all leading you home. It's all leading you to that safe space. That, like, when I see this lullaby card, I feel something sweet and soothing and safe. And so everything that you're seeing here, all of these little connections and how it all comes together, this is bringing you into this new start. And this new start is required, because this is no way to live. This person's nastiness is going to set you free. It's a blessing. And it's going to set you in the direction of home. And going to set you in the direction of safe. And so that's how we're going to think about that walking away, as walking towards yourself and the beautiful start that it's going to give you away from living in a way that is no way to live, and towards living in a way that is fully in your power, fully alive and not trapped. And so this advice relating to the soulmate situation, this person who's in your environment, Spirit says, yeah, this is wish fulfillment. This is a reunion, and this is going in the right direction and moving in the right direction. And believe it or not, what you thought was impossible is completely possible. And that brings me back to what you thought was lost is not lost. I'm holding it wrong, but you know, what you thought was lost isn't. It's coming. You're getting back what you put into it. You know, what was all this loss? No, it's not. You're going to be surprised. Yeah, you can expect communication. This is somebody. All right, so whether this energy is you coming home to yourself in some respect, or you know, encountering someone who you were really tight with most of your past lives, like this is a childhood, someone from childhood, someone where there's all this wishful thinking around. That's what's in your environment. And so if there's some kind of like, I don't believe this is possible, like I don't want to think that these wishes have a way of coming back around. They do. You might have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit, because you're going to have to bring love into this situation. If you're sat in this place of, if you get caught in the trap of, for some reason, wanting to hold on to this, panic can sometimes cause people to grab onto what's familiar. If there's some reason, like why this liberation, like if you're stuck with this attachment, your spirit is saying, like, if this is your comfort zone, this might be your comfort zone. This is where we're gonna look at this with this reading. This might be your comfort zone. And Spirit is saying, if this is your comfort zone, and I'm feeling for many of you it is, this person who causes all this anxiety, that offers starvation, who's going to bring a really harsh communication, that might be your comfort zone, because it might be what you know. It might be what you've known for a really long time. It might be like all you think is there, because when this person's communication comes in, they communicate and they point you in that right direction. They point you at your options. And so Spirit is saying, you're going to have to make that step. You're going to have to take that leap. You're going to have to walk out of that cold comfort zone, that starving comfort zone. It's time to leave. And to do that, you're going to have to bring love into that situation. And this is the beauty and the blessing and the gift and all this. This happens fast. This happens sharp. And it catapults you into a place where the love for yourself overcomes all the fear around you, and that has you stuck in this cold comfort zone. And so this is about leaving this cold comfort zone, and Spirit is saying, do it. And so this reading has gone on for a really long time, and I'm going to just pull one more card and read the back, and then we're going to close it out. That was super informative, and I hope that it brought insight and help and some soothing, and I hope that the way that we shifted the energy so that we could look at it in the right way, the way Spirit looks at it, allows for this the passage of this transformation to be one that is not so hard, right? So we're going to read, I've got this card here. I'm going to read the back of it. Here, the yellow tiger mother. Sometimes we must be strong and hold true whilst all around us seems to be shifting and changing. The yellow tiger mother, Kuan Yin, in her guardian role, is roaring within you, reminding you that you are a powerful being of light, and even whilst you are in flow with universal forces, your strong roots help you stand your ground as your light shines true. We're going to end the reading with that. Everything's changing, but It's the best possible thing that can happen for you. And it is leading you to an authentic expression of yourself that is strong, rooted, powerful, and in alignment with a really beautiful new beginning, new romantic cycle, healthy relationships, and something that you lost or thought you lost revealing itself to be a huge blessing that's actually not lost at all. All right, end of reading, and I hope that was great. It was fun to do, and it was an honor to read, and let's go ahead and post this so that it's up.